Right now, as you're reading this, you are outnumbered. Not by people, by trillions of tiny organisms living on your skin, in your mouth, and packed deep inside your intestines. There's no escaping them, no scrubbing them away for good, no diet that makes them disappear. They are woven into what it means to be human. Here's the strange part. We used to think of these organisms as freeloaders at best, invaders at worst. Now we're starting to realize they might be running parts of the show. Let's rewind to the very beginning. A baby growing inside the womb starts out almost completely free of microbes. Then birth happens, and if that birth is vaginal, the baby gets coated in a dense layer of bacteria picked up on the way out. It sounds messy, maybe even unpleasant to think about, but it's actually one of the most important handoffs in human biology. Babies delivered by C-section miss this exposure, and researchers have found they face higher odds of developing asthma, allergies, and certain immune disorders later on. The body isn't just tolerating this bacterial coating at birth, it's counting on it. And the support doesn't stop there. Breast milk isn't only about calories and nutrients for the baby. It contains specific sugar compounds that the infant itself can't even digest. Those sugars exist for one reason: to feed the right bacteria and starve out the wrong ones. It's basically a targeted meal plan for an ecosystem that hasn't finished forming yet. Give that ecosystem about 2 years, and a stable, functioning community of microbes settles into place, one that will stick with that person in some form for the rest of their life. So what exactly is living in there? Scientists sort our microscopic tenants into roughly 3 groups. The first group keeps to itself. These organisms occupy space, go about their business, and mostly don't bother us. Their presence alone is useful, though, because a crowded neighborhood leaves less room for troublemakers to move in. The second group is the opposite. These are organisms that actively work against us. Think of the bacteria in your mouth that convert sugar into acid strong enough to eat through tooth enamel. We can't wipe them out completely. We can only keep them in check, usually with a toothbrush. The third group is the one getting all the scientific attention lately. Deep in the gut lives a staggering community, hundreds of trillions of organisms spanning thousands of species. These are the ones we actively want around. They break down fiber our own bodies can't touch. They pull extra energy out of food that would otherwise pass through unused, and in exchange, we give them a warm, dark, endless buffet. There's a catch, though. The gut is also the most heavily guarded real estate in the body because it's a direct route into the bloodstream. Our immune system treats it like a border checkpoint, constantly on alert for anything dangerous. For the good bacteria to survive there, they had to evolve a kind of diplomacy. They send out chemical signals that essentially tell the immune system, "We're friendly, stand down." Some even release compounds that help the gut lining repair and regenerate faster. It's less a hostile takeover and more a long-term lease negotiated over millions of years. What's newer, and honestly stranger, is the growing evidence that this negotiation doesn't stop at the gut wall. It might extend all the way to the brain. Consider this. The vast majority of the body's serotonin, a chemical central to mood and nerve signaling, isn't made in the brain at all. It's made in the gut. Some researchers suspect the microbiome uses this as a way to send messages up the vagus nerve, the thick cable of nerve fibers connecting the gut directly to the brainstem. Other studies show gut bacteria can trigger immune cells that travel to the brain and assist in healing after injury. Since the brain ultimately decides what food gets eaten next, it's in the microbiome's interest to keep that brain functioning well, keep the decision maker healthy, and the food keeps coming. This is a genuinely new frontier in science, and researchers are still mapping out how deep this connection runs. But the early findings are hard to ignore. In one experiment, rodents given gut bacteria transplanted from people diagnosed with depression began showing behavior that looked a lot like anxiety and low mood, even though nothing else about their environment had changed. Around the same period, another study found a link between the specific bacterial makeup of newborns and how well those infants performed on early motor and language development tests. It doesn't stop at mood and development either. Experiments with fruit flies found that the composition of their gut bacteria shaped which foods the flies were drawn to. In other words, the passengers inside may have a say in what their host wants to eat next, which raises an obvious question. If our microbes can steer our cravings, can we steer them back? Turns out yes. The relationship runs both directions. You inherit the starting lineup of bacteria from your mother, but from there, what you eat every day reshapes the entire community. Some of these organisms thrive on leafy vegetables and fiber. Others prefer sugar and refined starches. Some are perfectly happy living off grease and fried food. Whatever you feed yourself, you're also feeding them, and whichever group gets fed the most simply grows the most. That sets up a loop that's easy to fall into and hard to climb out of. Say work gets stressful, and you start reaching for fast food most nights. The bacteria that love that kind of food multiply fast, crowding out the ones that prefer vegetables and whole grains. And here's the part that feels almost unfair. Those fast food-loving microbes appear to send their own signals back to the brain, nudging it to keep the cravings coming. More greasy food means more of those bacteria, which means stronger cravings, which means even more greasy food. It's a feedback loop that researchers now think plays a real role in the development of obesity. The encouraging part is that the loop isn't permanent. Shift the diet toward whole foods and fiber, and the microbial balance shifts with it, sometimes within just days. The gut microbiome's fingerprints are showing up in places far beyond weight and mood, too. Researchers have found associations with autism spectrum symptoms, schizophrenia, and even certain cancers. Interestingly, one of the very first warning signs of Parkinson's disease often isn't a tremor at all. It's digestive trouble, showing up years before the more familiar symptoms appear. So what do you do when the gut community goes badly out of balance, overrun by harmful bacteria that won't respond to normal treatment? The answer sounds almost too simple and a little uncomfortable. You bring in reinforcements from someone else's gut. Doctors call it a fecal microbiota transplant. In practice, it means taking stool from a healthy donor and introducing it into the patient's digestive tract, repopulating it with a healthier mix of organisms. This procedure is already used to treat severe, recurring infections caused by Clostridioides difficile, a bacterium that can take over the gut after other treatments wipe out the competition. But this science is still young, and the outcomes aren't always predictable. In one documented case, a transplant successfully cured a patient's chronic infection, but the donor happened to be overweight, and over time, the recipient began gaining weight too. That result pushed researchers to dig further. A separate study tried transplants in the opposite direction, taking microbes from lean donors and giving them to patients with obesity. The recipients ended up with a more diverse bacterial population and improved insulin sensitivity, changes that typically accompany weight loss on their own. We're still a long way from fully understanding how these microscopic communities shape our health, our moods, and even our decisions. But the picture emerging is clear enough to take seriously. These organisms aren't just passengers we happen to carry. They're active participants in nearly every system in the body, and in many ways, our health depends on how well we manage that relationship. We may never get our bodies entirely to ourselves. The best move now is learning how to keep good terms with the trillions of tiny tenants we can't evict.